Honestly, there is somewhat of a certain surrealness to say that this is the last Controversy Friday of 2024. That does, of course, not mean that I will be not doing Controversy Fridays next year. I definitely will, but because of elements, because of the lack of time that I have during this preparation time, I had to make some cuts, and you already saw that I'm putting out 3, maybe 4 weeks a week instead of 5. But I thought, of course, we need to end the Controversy Friday year with a friggin' bang, and today we are we're very openly criticizing behavior of indie brands. And before I start with your opinions, I want to show you the controversy palette that I will be using for this look. I will be I will be using 2 looks. Oh my god. I will be doing 2 looks with the palette, and before you call out my hypocrisy, hypocrite, I am well aware that I said I will not get this, but first of all, it was an impulse purchase because I had a 20% off coupon at Sephora. And second of all, I got tempted by some random swatches of this palette that I saw on TikTok from non-big influencers. So every now and then I do type in the search bar maybe a product that I want to see, and then I look out for videos that do not have a lot of views. I look out for people who are less than 1,000 followers on TikTok, and then I watch their reviews on stuff, and that's honestly super helpful sometimes. And I, I'm not even confident to show you the palette. I also thought, well, maybe I just do the eye look and then at the end I show you what it is. But you know what? At the end, it's my money. I can't decide what I spend it on. I got me the Icy Nude. I said in my You Don't Need That Shit that I think this is a very mid-toned palette. I have to, first of all, eat my words because in real life, it's not that mid-toned at all. It looks very well balanced, but I swatched it already, and I want to point out that Diamond Dew, VVS, Platinum, Aurora, no, Gold Standards, not so much, are extremely goopy. They're not squishy, they're goopy feeling, and bling is a pressed glitter. So for people who have a problem with that, that could be a problem. I don't know how I feel about the goopy shades on the eye because they swatched really, really weird, kind of slimy. But at the end, you know me, it's all about performance on the eyes. And I'm just still so thrown off by Huda Kattan yelling at us all the time. This is the last big palette. I bet you, in 2025, we will get a 12 pen. Or we will get 2 9 pens that make a 18 pen. She will, of course, not stop doing these in Italy. I don't think so because just business choice wise, this would be such a dumb decision because I don't know all the numbers of Huda, of course, and I just assume this, but I think that this yearly release of this palette is her best-selling product. I think in her money reports there will always be like this October and November peak. But as said, I got it for 20% off, which made it 53 or so. And I think that was a valuable price because the full price in Germany is 72 euros. So let me do the math. What I actually paid, 50, 57 and 60 cents. That was completely fine, honestly. And I had some money left over from my October beauty budget. So here we are. And am I excited? I think I bought it more so for science than anything else, just like I did with some very controversial duos, but they have not arrived yet. So let's head now over into the Controversy Friday. If you want to participate in 2025 in these, make sure you are watching out either here on the community tab or when you follow me on Instagram. I do post the question also in the in the story with the question sticker. And basically, if you have never seen a Controversy Friday, I post a question that I want to talk about, and then you answer basically that question with your point of views. Then I screenshot these point of views, and while I get ready, we talk about the different points. I tell you my opinion, and the whole purpose of Controversy Friday is to just discuss things in an environment where you're not judged. So none of these opinions that you say or that I say are wrong or right, because it's all about learning from each other, and it's all about opening our views and our worlds to the opinions of others, to just gather maybe a better opinion, to change something, maybe to even get validated in your own opinion. It's an open discussion, and as said, there's no right or wrong in here. And although this is not going to be a review of the Icy Nude, but the shade Rebel from last year's Pretty Grunge was in a very, very similar quality. So here you have them side by side, but that's probably unfair. So let's hold them up really side by side, and I always struggle to do this in a nice way. So here you have them. I think just from looking at it, I actually prefer the Icy Nude because I just love the cool tones. But I just know that I really enjoyed the Pretty Grunge palette because of its variety of warm and cool and the more darks in here. So I'm curious, honestly. I'm very curious. And the first one says, they're very late pre-orders or delivery dates. And I cannot agree more. It just fucks with my brain because I don't understand that. I mean, I understand why there are so long-term pre-orders, and we will talk about that later, because that pre-order topic from when I screenshotted the comments, I saw this already a couple times, that this is something that really bothers you. But also in general, these delivery dates, like what the fuck is wrong with you? In a You Don't Need That Shit a while ago, I talked about a brand that had a really interesting product. I think it was a highlighter palette, a face palette, and I'm not sure what brand it was. I think it was Notoriously Morbid, but I could be completely wrong. And I was warned, actually. Oh my god, I have pigment of that freaking eyeshadow on my face. I was warned actually to not purchase from them if I if I like a fast shipping, because they take like 6 to 8 weeks to ship out products, and I'm like, what the actual fuck? But I agree. This is 100% an indie problem. And I think we also need to talk about what is an indie brand actually, so that we are not confusing here things. So I just put it in a quick Google, and I found a nice explanation on Cosmoproof North America. I don't know what exactly this is. I don't know, but basically in one sentence, indie brands, those who are independently owned and operated and not part of a larger conglomerate of brands, like the Estee Lauder group. And when I hear talk about indie brands, it's hard to really narrow it down, because technically Natasha Denona is an indie brand, but there are not such problems, such pre-order problems as you have with, for example, what was the one, Bella Beauté Bar, that does like 12 weeks of pre-order. So just because some brand is an indie brand does not mean that they are affected by the things that we are talking about today. A very, very good example, in my opinion, for a indie brand that, in my eyes, still fits this vibe of being indie, like of being that one person who sits there at home, who's designing the palettes, who's maybe even hand pressing it and sanding it out, is Blind Bunny Cosmetics. They're still an indie brand. They do not hand press their stuff. No. But they are an indie brand that just reached a level of of organization that first of all, you have a great customer service, you have easy solutions for problems, you have a responsible owner of the brand. They are struggling with other problems that we're going to talk about too. That makes me actually really angry. But in terms of the whole, like how to run that organization, how to run the brand, and how to satisfy a customer needs, that's working. They figure it out, and that's running. While a brand like Glamlight, in my opinion, fails 1,000 times on every level of organization. So when I will now read to you the things, and I know I already read one to you, but that just came to my mind. I will always mention an example so that you know about what I am talking. And now I should finally start my look here. So the second comment that we have is making pre-orders only because online followers ask for it during live swatches. This harms the brand when others assume it's a cash grab rather than meeting a demand. Okay, honestly, what brand is doing this? I actually do not know. Okay, now I understand what you mean. It just took a while to process in my brain. So basically you say that there are brands, indie brands out there that open the pre-order button just because it was asked on a live, and she's basically doing this because people specifically ask for a pre-order, which is completely fine. And on the other side, people who were maybe not watching the live, they now see the pre-order and they of course assume the cash grab. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you to myself. It just took a while to understand that. I fully agree. While I do have my problems with pre-orders, again, we're talking about this later on, I also understand pre-orders. And there are certain brands where I participate in pre-orders. For example, I myself pre-ordered the Cosmic Brushes mystery box just because I know that they have a huge problem with their stock. And to me, that is a point of brand organization. But what I want to say is a positive note on that side, that the owner of Cosmic Brushes, or Cosmic Beauty, Faye, is very transparent about this. She's not letting you die in the dark. She is constantly posting like status updates. She's posting where the problems are. And while I still think this is something that she urgently needs to resolve, I also like the fact that she's very open about this. So very interesting. I never actually saw this, but I also have to admit, I don't watch lives. I hate the lives on Instagram. I don't watch lives on TikTok. It's just not my cup of tea. So I, of course, trust you that when you say that this happens. I totally think it does, but I also find it weird that then people assume it is a cash grab. Like, why should they? Next up we have, I don't like when they're private label and charge a premium because they're indie. We have to stop here for a moment to just talk again about definitions. So, I assume what you criticize here is white labeling, because white labeling is what most of the people online misunderstood as private labeling. So, white labeling means I do a makeup brand, I create maybe a palette, whatever, a color scheme, whatever. Then I look up a manufacturer that can do this color story, and then I say that manufacturer, do this eyeshadow palette, and I have no influence whatsoever on the formulation, because that producer, that manufacturer, they offer you an eyeshadow formula or different eyeshadow formulas. You never really like focus on just mattes, just shimmers, whatever. You basically choose out of the catalog of formulations that this manufacturer has, and you have no influence on any adjustments. So you have to live with what that manufacturer is giving you, and out of the catalog of shades or whatever, you then can choose your products, do your eyeshadow palette, and then stick your brand sticker on it. That is white labeling. Private labeling means that you also work together with a manufacturer, but that manufacturer is mixing, is producing, is doing a formulation custom to your needs as a brand. I think it is a very, very common misunderstanding that indie brand always means that you are hand pressing your stuff. First of all, if an indie brand, if a brand in general is hand pressing their makeup, I assume that they have very, very high hygienic standards at their home, please, because not cool. You are not doing this just at home with no like clinical environment, with no clean environment, hygienic things. And I don't want to know what some of these indie brands that are hand mixing shit and sell it on Etsy, how many bacteria's in there. I don't want to know. No, thank you. Basically, when you work with a white label company or you are aiming for white labeled products, you do not think about formulations. You just take already formulated shit and put your sticker on it. While with the private label, you are working with a lab, with a manufacturer, whatever, that does this by your choice. You tell them what to do, you have influence on the formulation, you dictate what you need and what your expectations are, and they mix that for you. And that formulation that you created is custom for you as long as you have the contract with the private label manufacturer. So I'm sorry to burst some people's bubble here, but every big brand is private labeled. Pat McGrath does not have their own factory to then press their formulations down. Pat McGrath, when she says she's made in Italy, chances are high that they're done in the same production hall as maybe Huda Beauty's Italy palettes. That is just the thing that a lot of people either they just don't know, and some don't want to know. It is possible that your eyeshadow is private labeled and they charge you a lot of money because of the resources, because of the pigments that go in there. Every private label can be different. So if you, of course, meant that you are not liking the fact that some are white labeling their products, which they totally do, especially when they start out. When small indie brand starts out, often they do white labeling. That's just common, and then they change to private label as soon as they have more money that they can invest into the business. And I think it is a bit of a misunderstanding that a indie brand charges high prices because they're indie. They charge they charge high prices because the ingredients are more expensive. Calling ingredients expensive, I'm not even able to pick up the pigments of the Diamond Dew shade. What the actual fuck? So I really hope that my explanation was somewhat understandable. And do you see the fucking glitter rain on me? So as said, I don't think that private label is bad, and depending on how it is formulated, it's understandable that a certain private label formulation costs more than a different one. So I just hope that this explanation of white and private label makes that a bit clear. At the end, I think it all comes down to your own level of expectation. But again, I'm sorry if I burst your bubble now, but I don't think that you can expect an indie brand to hand press your eyeshadows. That's not going to happen. I just realized that the whole time I said fabric when I mean factory. I'm sorry, because in Germany, Factory in German is Fabrik. I'm sorry if I caused some confusion. I meant factory, and that is what I wanted to say. Some indie brands, they have their own little part of a factory, or they even have an own factory. For example, I know that Lethal Cosmetics does hand press the singles by themselves. They do have a factory in Berlin where they do this. But they do not hand press everything themselves. They also have a Chinese manufacturer that private labels their stuff. So they gave their wishes to that manufacturer and they are getting their custom formulation. For example, the Avatar collection is made in China. If you want to know more about this whole private label, white label thing, there are thousands of Google entries. There are thousands of explanations all around the internet how this works, and I will not go too much into depth. I just wanted to point out here that I think with this comment here, maybe the person is meaning white label because, as said, private label is completely normal. Unreasonably long pre-order periods. Oh, looking at you, Bella Beauté Bar. I remember when they brought back their Oracle highlighter palette, 12 weeks of pre-order. Like, fuck you. And it's not like with a lot of other companies that do pre-orders. For example, when I pre-order a game for the PlayStation or Xbox, whatever, my card or PayPal, whatever, is charged when they send out the stuff. So you basically just pre-order for having not to care about the actual release date. They charge your card, your payment method, whatever, as soon as it is sent out, and not when you pre-order. But in the indie brand industry, in the makeup industry, your card is 99% of the time charged by the time that you are doing the pre-orders. So what is now the benefit for the brand? In case you are still wondering, let me explain that to you. They have your money, because chances are high that, my roll of paper just fell down. Chances are high that by the time they want to release something, by the time they want to bring something in their shop or bring back something in their job, they just do not have the money to pay their private label factory to produce the products. There was, I think, many years ago, a very interesting video. I think it was from Marlena Stell, where she talked about the cost that go into an eyeshadow production before the release. You know, you have to prepay the packaging, you have to prepay the manufacture process, prepay the design. So you have to invest a high amount of money in the production process before you even have seen any single cent of money. So let me tell you why some brands do this: to just have the money to finance the product release. That is the case. That is just the reason, nothing else. You also have to, while this is of course a very negative view that I spread here, you have to sometimes also consider the fact, why am I so messy today? I know, because I look messy. You also have to consider the fact that especially small brands, they do not have the space to store, I don't know, 200,000 pallets. So not only do they need the pre-order to finance a release, they also make the pre-order to know how much to order so that they are not losing money in that process. I don't want to defend that because it has such a bitter taste. Because on one hand, I understand that process when you're a small hand. On the other hand, I'm fucking pissed by this. I just want to say that I do understand the process behind this. I just do not like this process. Do you know what I mean? So why does this cause more harm than anything? Because first of all, during that pre-order time, there maybe are more people who want to join in that pre-order, and they also have to wait the whole time. Honestly, I think with these super long pre-order processes, you just create a never-ending circle of pre-orders because you never have a really stock going on. You never really have the money to pre-invest maybe in a new launch without the pre-order. You know what I mean? It just it never ends. And I think it is just a question of organization. While I do understand that a brand maybe does this in the beginning, so maybe like the first two bigger launches, they do pre-orders, then they have time to just build a good, reliable like credit stock for yourself so that you have enough money to invest in the next product without the pre-order. And once you made that step, you just are in a good flow. And honestly, nobody ever said that having a brand, being an indie brand owner is easy and is for free. You always invest with your own money. That's just the thing when you are self-employed. Okay, so let's talk about this. PR in exchange for content, just plain cheeky, really. I know some are small, but let's just talk about this. We had a very similar situation with MBA Cosmetics not too long ago. They asked for new applications for their PR list, and basically that is exactly what they asked for. You should have gotten PR from them, and then you have to create content. It's not like the common doing with PR where you get PR and then the brand just hopes that you talk about this. They specifically stated that when you are on that PR list, you have to do content. They got a ton of backlash. They stopped their PR application things and they have to redo everything because they actually took the criticism very, very seriously, which I honestly appreciate. I personally think that in this PR in exchange for content, there is no black and white. Sometimes you have to make a decision to maybe accept this as a deal when you're a content creator, to have a investment in your future business relationship. And I think it just depends a lot on how is this brand approaching you? How is this communicated, you know? For example, when Isamaya Beauty would ever contact me and tell me, hey, we would send you this collection, this upcoming, and what we want to have is that you do a video upon launch day or in the week of launch day, whatever, I would totally say yes, because I am fully behind Isamaya Beauty. I am fully supporting the brand, and I would be insanely honored when they contacted me. And I think some people might feel the same way about different brands that are their favorites. And I don't want to say that when a content creator is accepting this deal that they're, I don't know, like that they have no credibility or so. For me personally, the big difference in a deal like this is always the question, is the brand going to use this on their socials? Is the brand going to use this on their website? If, and that is, for example, very specifically the Monolith Shop thing, they looked out for content creators that will do content with their stuff. And they wanted to use that content without paying the content creators then for their specific swatch videos, for example. That is a problem. But if you're sent out a bunch of products just with the question, hey, can you show them please in a video? I think that is okay. But as soon as the brand is asking you to, hey, I will send you this palette and I want to have from you a swatch video, a swatch photo, and 2 looks that we can use on your socials, then this is not okay. Because they're basically giving you a job. They want you to create stuff that they can use on their official accounts, on their official website. Adept Cosmetics does this in a very interesting way. They are every now and then looking out for content creators that will create swatch content for them, but they will pay you. So you get the palette as PR basically. You can use it as you want, but you are paid for these specific parts of the PR. And that is completely fine in my opinion. But move on to the next one. Trying to find their brand, rebranding multiple times, changing pan size or shape. Oh, Glaminatrix Cosmetics. They're not like rebranding or finding their brand, but they're changing the pan sizes. They went from their 26 millimeter hand press pans to a 22.5 millimeter pan that we got from Sugar and Spice on. And honestly, I fucking hate this. People hate this. But they started a poll on Instagram and the majority said, yeah, keep the small pans. Why should you keep the small pans when you already did the big ones? The small pans also do not fit in a lot of people's empties palettes because 22.5 millimeters is such an uncommon pan size. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe the people who are more into single eyeshadows and BYOBs, maybe you are proving me wrong now, but from my understanding and from what I saw from my research when I was looking out for empty palettes, 26 millimeters is the thing and not 22.5. My very cynical assumption is that it's cheaper to do the 22.5 millimeter pans. Complain online when a collection doesn't sell well. I hate guild marketing. Oh, who does this? I have not seen this, I think, but I agree. I mean, that could be Blend Bunny because I remember that there was a post from Blend Bunny when she put the Machina palette on sale and she wrote something that the palette does not sell very well, blah, 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 although so much heart went into that. Could be Blend Bunny, but if you have a different example, let me know what to pay attention of, because sometimes I also don't read that just because I'm blind, because I sometimes click through brands' Instagram stories so quick that I sometimes just don't realize it. Vague posting, just say it or don't. But honestly, that counts for everybody, not only for indie brands, that is for everybody. And I'm pretty sure you mean specifically when it comes to new launches. Again, Blend Bunny does this a lot, where she's like, "Oh my God, I have so much in in the pipeline. I have this, I have that," and then when you ask, it's like, "Yeah, I can't tell you yet." But so many content creators do that. I sometimes do this too when I am prepping for something to film. So I just did this a couple days ago, where I just put up an Instagram story where I said I'm doing something, like I'm reviewing something that I never thought I would review, and I'm really excited about this. But I don't know, I think this is just a type of making your audience, your viewers, like hyped for something. For me, I like these vague postings as long as the announcement, the release, or the introduction of a collection is close by. Let's say today they do this and next week they reveal it. That's to me fine. But and here I want to mention What's Up Beauty actually, because I'm pretty sure that all of you already forgot about this, that last year, I think it was December or early January, they posted an Instagram story of an upcoming eyeshadow palette, and in that story they said, "Can't wait for 2025. It was a black and white image, a black and white video, I think. Over a year in advance, they teased this. That is vague posting that we do not like. That is just so dumb. And why do I remember this? Well, because it annoys the shit out of me that this now lives in my head rent-free, and now I'm waiting for What's Up Beauty to finally release their stuff, because it is very soon, 2025. teased their future release for weeks, well, or for over a year. Adept Cosmetics did this too a while ago. They posted in an Instagram story all their new packaging for 2025. Y'all, 2024 is not even cancelled, and you were still releasing stuff in 2024. Chill the fuck out. Put tons of shimmer in the same palette. Oh, interesting. That does not really bother me because I then am forced to use other palettes, which I usually don't. But I do like that. Then Blend Bunny must be the perfect palette for you because they have really just a few shimmers that go with their themes. So we're now heading to the YouTube comments, stating that things will be shipped in 2 to 4 business days or a week, and then you don't get your package for 1 to 2 months. Then you even contact the brand and you either get no response or just get a crappy apology, it'll be shipped soon. Glamlight. I know that in this week, I uploaded a video on the Glamlight Coca-Cola collection. It was a swatch, flicks, and chill, and I highly, highly recommend watching this because Glamlight fooled me again. They did it again. They played with my heart. Quit playing games with my heart. Okay, I'm sorry. But they did it basically again. They said it'll be shipped in 5 business days, then they don't answer, and then it was shipped next week, and I in total waited 3 weeks for the package. The thing is, just be transparent. Honestly, people are old enough to decide whether or not they're willing to wait for launch or not. And the thing just is, the relationship between a customer and an indie brand is very, very different to the relationship between a MAC Cosmetics or any L'Oreal brand and the customer. Like the level of admiring a celebrity. For example, Taylor Swift concert tickets here in Germany. I think some of them were sold for over 400, 500 euro. Billie Eilish in Germany is selling tickets for 150 euro upwards. And I, as an adult, I am very capable of deciding for myself, is it worth it paying that much money or is it not? For me, it was neither. Taylor Swift, like, I'm not a Swift fan at all. I wouldn't have attended a concert. I just saw it in the news. But I was about to maybe buy tickets for Billie Eilish. But then I saw the prices and I myself decided I am not fan enough actually to justify this price. I would have loved to see Billie Eilish just live once in my life, just to see it and to get the vibe of her live concerts, because again, I'm not a fan, but I like a lot of her songs. But not fan enough to pay that much money. And same goes, in my opinion, for long shipping times. I can, as a customer, decide myself, am I willing to wait for that long or not? Last year, when Glamlight did all of their horror collections, in that one collection, they stated a processing time of 4 weeks. And I decided back then that to me, it is worth waiting the 4 weeks. Now I was not even fine with 5 business days because they just played with my heart last year. They just fooled me and they disappointed me and I'm still restricted. But the customer can decide this for themselves. Is it worth waiting or not? Any supporter, any customer of a brand who is honestly and transparently communicated that the processing time of this is going to take 2 to 3 weeks is much more likely to still order than when they look up how it's going with the brand and they just find all of these people online saying you promised 4 to 5 business days and my order didn't ship in a month. That is way, way worse for your reputation as a brand than just being transparent. The next one is a really, really long one. So let's start with number 1. These freaking pre-orders, I'm so done with them. Even if I love the palette, the pre-order will stop me from ordering no matter the indie brand. It already takes the package ages to get to the EU. I don't need to add weeks or months to it by investing in a pre-order. I get why really small brands do it, but if you're able to pump out release after release, then you should be able to come up with a business model that doesn't rely on pre-orders. It's getting really sus with some of these indie brands. Thank you. Exactly what we were just talking about. Absolutely. The pricing. I love my indie brands, but geez, it is expensive to order from them nowadays. A smaller palette or less special shades from time to time will do too. I'm not buying from but I like that they branch out to smaller palettes now as well. Would love to see that from other indie brands. Yeah, but with Ensley Rain, you have the problem that her prices are based off of numerology, so it's just the same delusional model as anything in Ensley the fuck Rain. Blend Bunny Cosmetics, for example, and I know that I mention her a lot of the times, but she's actually a very good example. Remember the Trove Quad that I love to death, but she's not doing these special multi-chromes again at this point because they were so expensive to formulate and expensive to put in a palette. I personally am very, very sad about this because these are the best multi-chromes that I have. They are even a tad bit better than Cleonet. I know, crazy. They are just very, very special. Whatever is in there, Blend Bunny nailed a formulation that I have not tried from anything else. And I wish that she would come out with more of them. Speaking of special shades, why is every other palette just a collection of special shades? I can simply buy single bundles for that. I don't need a palette every other launch. I miss the color story indie brands came up with in the past. Love to see that. The C brands are offering that. Releases back to back to back, but not so close that you could actually wait for 2 to 3 releases to both be in stock when you order. Ooh. International shipping is expensive as is. It would be nice to buy a few palette products at once and only pay for shipping once. Ordering from websites like Monolith Shop unfortunately isn't always cheaper than ordering multiple times from indie brand directly. And I would much rather pay €50 for shipping from the indie brand than support Monolith Shop at all. Mystery boxes with new releases and no restock pre-order. I at least want to have the option to see what I'm buying beforehand, make a reveal video available beforehand, or allow for a restock. I don't want to spend my money blindly. Oh, yes, I agree. I know that the Cosmic Brushes, Cosmic Beauty mystery box, they do something similar, but not quite like this. So their Sinister box was available for pre-order. There is still no peek inside, so I also don't know what I'm getting. And the remaining stock that was after the pre-order or after the pre-order is shipped out will be then sold end of November, I think. I don't like that. I'm honest with you. I really do not like how she is doing this. I wish there was a video too before that. I basically just caved into this launch because of the description. But honestly, I understand every single critique that went into this launch. I think this is a very, very real thing for Cosmic Brushes to do. Blind mystery boxes need to stop. At least tell us what types of product, but really having a spoiler link with more info to ensuring PR reaches creators before launch needs to happen, especially at some of the price points I've seen lately. I fully agree with you. Also, just global availability shipping. I get that in early stages that is going to need to be worked out, but at some point having regional online retailers or more reasonable shipping needs to happen if you want global accessibility. I think some brands don't care for that. I think some brands are truly limiting themselves to a certain area, like just the States or just the EU, because maybe they also don't have the stock to handle maybe also overseas orders. But I see where you're coming from, and I do agree on that actually. So I just set my face, and usually I will blow dry that with a little fan here, but I have some more YouTube comments, so I let it air dry today and read some of the new comments for you. A few things that are annoying to me. The fact that most of these brands try to make you emotionally invested because they're a small business and need support. No, you don't need support, you need cash. You're a business, not a non-profit actively helping the greater good. I totally agree. Oh, honestly, this whole... Is this also part of guild marketing then? I don't know, but I am so pissed by this. The other side of this emotional support or this emotional trap that they want to trick you in is creating these stories around palettes or around launches. And here a negative example of Blend Bunny Cosmetics. Her whole thing about the Machina palette, that this is about her father and the illness, blah, 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 blah. I don't care. I don't care. And honestly, I assume that this is the reason why the palette sold so bad. Because people don't want to be tricked into this. I bought the palette with 50% off when she decided that it's time to discontinue the palette after not even 4 or 5 months. I don't want to support this. I am not emotionally tricked into a purchase. I can be emotionally tricked into a purchase when it is a collab maybe with a franchise or with a certain topic, like the Twilight thing was. The stuff could have been the biggest bullshit Colourpop has ever done in their lives. I would still be a buyer of this collection and I would still like it. I probably would not use it as much, definitely not, but I would see it as a collector's item. Always sending out PR to the same small pool of people. I suppose bigger brands do this too, but it is almost more jarring to always see the same 10 people suddenly promoting the same stuff. I would love to see an example for this. Because what is a small pool of people for you? That's very interesting. I personally feel like we are currently living in a time where I see actually more and more people getting PR from brands that they never got. I feel like there is just this new sense for it. I don't know. Maybe it's just my online bubble where I move and that's different to your online bubble where you move in, but I would love to hear an example for this so that I can make a better picture of this for myself. And the last point is the drama, always a drama. Please just keep it professional. We don't need to know, just make pretty products and behave professionally. Kaima Cosmetics. This one is an interesting one. To me, a lot of indie brands have the Ellen DeGeneres effect. Ellen is notorious for only being nice to celebrities for show and extremely mean to the rest of US plebeians, but was able to stay successfully for so long because so many celebrities loved her. These brands are similar. They focus on building a great relationship with influencers and send out PR to them weeks in advance, but they can't keep that same energy with their paying customers. Customers can't get their package on time, can't receive any communication, and are paying outrageous prices. There are multiple indie brands I can think of that have many influencers hyping them up with phrases such as, "I'm close with the owner and she's an amazing person. She worked so hard on this collection and I know you're going to love it." But then I rarely see an actually paying customer creating videos about the products or raving about it. If the influencer knows the owner so close to the company or is close to the company, the review is not objective. Companies need to focus more on the customer relationships instead of just writing of the parasocial relationship between an influencer and their viewers slash subscribers. I love everything in this opinion. I think a good example for this is the downfall of Odin's Eye and how Angelica Ninquist used to praise them all the time because she knew the owner, blah, 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 blah. And all of a sudden, when Odin's Eye kind of got a bigger audience and they started to collab with more people than Angelica, she all of a sudden had something to criticize about the influencer collapse. I mean, just remember the criticism that a content creator stole her shade names. Remember that? The was it this summer that collab with these packagings? Oh, what was it called? Honestly, for the sake of my life, I can't remember that collab, but I remember that Angelica, she reviewed it, and she literally said that one of the shade names were, what a coincidence, the same name as her shades. I didn't really follow that because I stopped really caring so much about Odin's Eye, but I remember that, and that was a bit of drama. It's all business, and especially indie brands tend to forget this. And the thing just is that this hyping up mechanism and everything that is attached to this problem is not only bad for the customers. I think, and some creators might disagree with me on that, and maybe some will realize that after a while. They do not realize how they are slowly getting manipulated. Like, how high is the chance that you will ever see a bad review from a content creator that is gifted a Birkin bag by a brand? Do you really think that they will ever say a bad word about them? I mean, that specific creator I'm referring to is constantly lying anyway, but wasn't there that Tarte thing just currently where they sent out some super expensive jewelry to the people? I know this is a harsh word that I'm going to use, but it's like hidden blackmailing, some kind of, because there's always going to be this sub, I don't know, or meta feeling above everything that's hovering above you of, this brand gave me $5,000 worth earrings. This brand sent me a bracelet that cost $6,000. Who am I to now just talk bad about them? And that is the point where brands forget that it's about makeup and that it's not about ass kissing. Oh boy, getting people going. I believe the prices are crazy right now, yet so much PR goes out. You can tell when a brand has butt kissed the influencer community the most because the item will be plastered all over. Influencers doing dedicated reviews for palettes that may not have the best formula. I lost quite a bit of money before realizing that. Shipping is another thing. I have had to kiss hundreds goodbyes from ordering handmade eyeshadows that take so long to ship. By the time you realize the brand stole your money, it is too late to dispute with the bank. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Poor communication regarding non-refundable items is another pet peeve. You can't return items to indie brands, yet getting a response or a question answered can be like pulling teeth. At the end of the day, though, the quality I get from indie brands has putting up with all of it. I completely agree with you. I want to, first of all, we had a lot of the points already, but I want to focus especially on the return policy thing. I am not well aware in international shipping law and international business law, so maybe someone can here please enlighten us all. But my understanding is that the company has to follow the law of the country that they ship in. And in Germany, return laws are very, very easy. You can say, no, I don't want that anymore in a span of 14 weeks. And everything over €40 worth of product, you can send back. And the costs for shipping back have to be paid by, for example, the seller, the shop, or whatever. It's common that a lot of shops says that under €40, you have to pay the return by yourself. I have had this conversation of shipping back stuff now a couple times with shops outside of the EU actually. And they say, no, you have to follow our rules, and in our rules, you have to pay for sending back. And in that case that I'm referring to, I was talking about a €50 product, and shipping that back to the seller would have cost me 30. I also don't like the fact that with a lot of indie brands, you can't cancel orders. When you pre-order something, they specifically state you cannot cancel that fucking pre-order. What is wrong with you? But again, I'm not well aware in international shipping law. Is it as I think it is, or is that really correct that you have to, as a customer, follow the rules of their country? I don't know. But I agree with you. I hate that too, and I'm sorry that you lost your money by to brands that basically stole and kind of tricked you with good quality photos. Seems like that. I'm very sorry this has happened to you. But I also want to point out that last sentence. Because of a lot of good quality, because of also specialty of the products, that's kind of... it's like being in a toxic relationship with that guy that actually doesn't treat you very well, but when he treats you well, you feel like a fucking princess. That's the same that I have with Glamlight. I fucking hate their system. I fucking hate how they treat customers. I fucking hate how intransparent they are and how they just fool the people and how they're just ass-kissed by the content creators that are invited to their launch parties or that get the PR. Honestly, at this point, I would even refuse PR from Glamlight, but at the same time, whenever they bring out special palettes like the Coca-Cola collection, first of all, they're just marketed very good, they're designed very good, and the quality is very good. And last but not least, too much drama. I really only care about the products. Can you behave like a normal person? Prices and shipping are too much. Talking about shipping and indie brands, Patrick Ta now ships to the EU. And I went to the website to just check the prices. And honestly, can someone please from Patrick Ta explain me who shat in your brain? Because I did a cart with products and then I went to the checkout to see that. And he basically wants to have double the amount of taxes that is required actually. So you prepay the taxes while ordering. Not all shops do this. Some do not apply taxes and you have to pay them by delivery. But it's a bit sus, to be honest. So for lips, I now went also with the sparkly frosty theme and I went with Metal from Izamaya Beauty. I do want to say though that I like both of the looks. This has a very special neutralness, like plainness to me, while this has a certain drama to me that I really enjoy. So I also want to point out that the grays here in the Icy Nude that I used are very good. Usually, most of the grays turn blue on me. These didn't. My shirt is full of glitter. My trousers are full of glitter. My hands are full of glitter. Because of that fucking diamond dew shade, I'm really, really mad right now because I just can't get the glitter off. But well, that's it. That was the last Controversy Friday of 2024. Thank you so much for providing your opinion on this. This was definitely a hot topic. Please drop your topics that you would love to see discussed here in Controversy Friday for 2025 down below. Also, if you have something to add here, please also drop it down below. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe so you do not miss out of any of the cool videos. Do not miss out further. I think that was just bullshit and gibberish that I just said. I wanted to say, please make sure you're subscribed so you do not miss out any of the cool videos coming. And LMS is just right around the corner. Only a couple days until Alamus will start. By the way, as of today, I'm filming this November 2nd. I already have 4 videos uploaded, so I'm really good. Thank you so much, and I hope I can see you in the next one.